Hi there, and welcome to another installment of Bruiser'S Boot Camp, Barre Chords. Today we're gonna learn how to expand our chord vocabulary from our initial 15 to a substantial number just by learning a handful of movable chord shapes. We do this by adapting open string chord fingerings and using the first finger as a bar. So, like if we take, this is our E chord, and we're going to have to shuffle some fingers around. So we're going to place our third finger here, our pinky here, our second finger here, and this frees up our first finger. And then if we move this up to the first fret, we have an F major chord. So therefore, what we can do, since our root is here, our root is on the 6th string, and the key to figuring out what chord you're playing is what fret you're on. For instance, you have to keep in mind that each fret represents a half step. So E to F, that's a half step. F to F sharp, another half step. G, G sharp, and so forth until you get up to the 12th fret, and then everything starts over again. So key number 1 is to learn the notes of the low E string. By making minor alterations to our E shape, we can bar minor chords and 7th chords. For instance, on the 5th fret, this is our A. If we take this finger now we have an A minor chord based on an open E minor shape. And then we have our 7th shape here, and we'll use, and that is simply lifting this finger off. So that's a B7. So a similar modification to our open A chord gives us a movable shape with root notes on the 5th string. So here is most, in a lot of books you see an A chord fingered like this. I, however, hardly ever do that. I just bar my one finger across these 3 notes here, and I usually mute the 6th string. Keeping that in mind, I use my 3rd finger now, and if I move it up, alright, that's an A sharp or B flat. So, right now what I can do is I can do the same thing with that chord shape as I did with E shape. You can do, here's what a minor chord looks like, an E minor, and 7th fret, and then a D7 chord will look like this. which is this, but on the 5th fret. Okay, so once you start applying the 1-4-5 rule to bar chords, you'll notice that all 3 chords are within 3 frets of each other, such as here with G, C, and then D7, right? So, okay, so if you want to do E, A, B. So, it should be really clear by now that learning the notes of the 5th and 6th strings is essential. The thing to do, as I mentioned earlier, is to understand that each fret is a half step, and the note on the lowest string is E, right? So, and then starting with F, and then F sharp, and G, and so on. And then the open 5th string, this is an A, and A sharp, B, C, C sharp, and so on until you get back to A again. Alright, so knowing this, you could put together any number of scale tone progressions, like like this one in G, which is what I was playing in the beginning. These next 2 shapes lend themselves to a more blues-like sound and are used in everything from R&B to jazz and all kinds of stuff. Both of these shapes employ a partial bar, which is just, in this case, it's usually 3 strings, and instead of the whole bar. And the first one is a C shape. Here's your your open C. What we're going to do now is we're going to move our shape up to C sharp. And here's what it looks like with the partial bar here. Alright. And probably even less used than that is, or I should say used together with, is the G shape. And here's your open G. And like my A shape, this string gets left out, and what you have is a partial bar here, and now you have a G sharp major chord. Just as we can play different chords using the same shape, we can play one chord using 4 different shapes. So, in other words, here we have an A. Here's our E shape A chord in the 5th fret. If we apply the G shape here, we get, this is another A. And if we go up to the 12th fret, we can use our A shape there. And then starting on the Ninth fret, we can use the C shape. So, once you've gotten comfortable with these shapes, you will have increased your chord vocabulary considerably, therefore making the guitar a lot more fun. So, until next time, this is Bruiser signing off.